This musical sequence is really like nothing I've seen in Preston Sturges' career. Virtually absent of dialogue, it opens with this long, sumptuous tracking shot of a symphony rehearsal. And devoid of any overt narrative purpose, this shot has more of a documentary aesthetic in its matter-of-fact realism. And Sturges seems cognizant of the documentary quality of the shot, and never content to rest upon one level of representation, he makes kind of a joke of it here with these two harp players, one crocheting and the other filing her nails.
And now, gentlemen, merely to follow the wishes clearly expressed by the composer, pizzicato con molto vibrato, like a dentist chipping out an old filling.
The way he follows the foreboding musical term with a plain-spoken explanation, it's characteristic of his wonderful juxtaposing of highbrow and lowbrow sensibilities. But note how Sturges inserts a kind of laugh track in this moment. Even if it's diegetic to the moment, it still serves to cue the audience that there's a joke in the scene, as if he's afraid they're going to miss it. According to studio memos, this scene fared especially poorly with test audiences, who thought it was too long. And even contemporary audiences may wonder what Sturges is up to by lingering on this orchestra the way he does. But just look at the visual rhythms created by the musicians as the camera tracks past them. It creates a synesthetic beauty. Sturges is clearly fascinated and even enraptured with the symphony. The unison of so many talents under a common harmonic purpose, not unlike that of a classic Hollywood studio. And building on that link, not only is Rex Harrison's Sir Alfred de Carter the stand-in for Sturges as the imperious maestro of an artistic production, the orchestra is also where Sturges finds a metaphor for his own domain of artistic mastery, the film studio. And just as Sir Alfred enters a personal hell of domestic distress over his wife's suspected infidelity, Sturges at this time was finalizing his divorce from his third wife. But what does not run parallel is that while Sir Alfred's status as a maestro remains undisputed throughout the film, Sturges' career was falling apart. This film being the second of 3 consecutive flops that ended his career. And so this film and this scene may amount to a personal fantasy of Sturges' glory days of uncontested artistic mastery and brilliance. This scene also features the most loving shots of people to be found in the entire film. Most of the featured actors in this film come off as tired stereotypes or hollow, underdeveloped foils for de Carter's wit to lord itself over. But these musicians in this scene retain their dignity without having to say a word. In contrast, look at Rex Harrison's gestures, how slightly exaggerated they are. I'd say that this is actually deliberate of Sturges' direction. There's a vulgarity and a pleasure in the vulgarity which he's not afraid to make plain.
Keep playing, gentlemen, I don't want to waste your time. Dr. Schultz.
Yes, Sir Alfred.
Yours is my favorite instrument in the entire orchestra. I've been looking at you, but I can't hear you.
I was afraid of being a little loud, Sir Alfred. You know, vulgar. As a small boy, I was learned always never to be vulgar.
Be vulgar by all means, but let me hear that brazen laugh.
I don't think most audiences at the time, or even now, would find this scene funny or perhaps even meaningful. I think you have to be a bit inside Sturges' head to appreciate why he makes as much of this rehearsal scene as he does. And that's kind of what's bittersweet about Unfaithfully Yours. The story takes place as much inside Sturges' head as it does Sir Alfred's. The film often sets Sir Alfred visually apart from others, and even in his most public moments, he is alone to himself and his demons.